Live from San Francisco on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network, you are listening to Wrestling Observer Live with your hosts, Bryan Alvarez and Mike Sempervive.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Let's get it on!
How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sunday, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern. And yes, I am back, as usual, an issue to start the show. But we are here every day. We got a lot to get into today. It is the Tokyo Dome weekend, and obviously we got a lot to get into there. 2 Tokyo Dome shows, which are starting this evening. There's a show tonight, and there is a show tomorrow. We've got a full lineup for both of the shows, and obviously you can watch them on njpwworld.com. Tonight's show plays into tomorrow's show. When tomorrow's show is over, we will have the first ever double champion. Somebody is leaving with the IWGP Heavyweight title and the IWGP Intercontinental title. The double gold dash match is the main event for tomorrow. So we'll give you the full lineup for the show today. We've also got some interesting ratings. We have the WWE Backstage ratings, which last week the show was on Christmas Day and did a huge number. This week, the show was on New Year's Day and did a horrible number. We've also got the AEW and NXT numbers. We did not have them until this morning. And as pretty much everybody expected, AEW destroyed NXT. NXT had a taped show. And I thought the show might do okay because the show last week was also a taped show. And the matches, these takeover matches this week were stunningly great matches. And I figured that maybe there would be viewers on USA that had never seen the matches before, and the great matches would help boost the number. And in fact, that did not really happen. 548,000 viewers. NXT up to 967,000. We'll give you more details here today as well. And we've also got a bunch of other news, including how you can attend a Q&A with myself and Dave over WrestleMania weekend. We'll tell you about that. Text messages only here today. If you want to text us, 425-780-7566. Back in a moment with Mike Sempervive, Wrestling Observer Live.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details. Need cash but have bad credit or maxed out cards? Now you can get a personal loan for up to $5,000, whatever your credit, with no paperwork. MoneyASAP.com is one of the nation's largest personal loan networks. If you have a checking account and a regular income source, you can get cash in your account as soon as tomorrow. Type this into your smartphone or computer address bar. www.moneyasap.com. That's moneyasap.com. moneyasap.com.
You are listening to Wrestling Observer Live with Bryan Alvarez and Mike Sempervive on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also WrestlingObserver.com. We got a lot to get into here today. So let's get going. First off, the ratings for Wednesday, since everybody asked. It was a live Dynamite versus a taped NXT on New Year's Day. And after a week off for Christmas, AEW returned 967,000 viewers, up 42% from the previous episode that aired on December 18th. 18 to 49, AEW finished 13th for the night on cable. 0.36 rating, up 44% from the previous episode. Also the best number Dynamite has done in that category since October 16. NXT, which aired a year-in review show, as well as the announcement of the year-end awards, the teams for the 2020 Dusty Classic, and the 3 best matches of the year for NXT. 548,000 viewers, down 34% from last week. 0.15 in the 18 to 49 demo, dropping to 66th for the night on cable in that category. Number down 32% from the Christmas night episode of NXT. Also the lowest number the show has done since its USA Network debut. Couple of notes on all of this here. First off, these numbers I wouldn't freak out too much for the NXT number. I mean, next week the shows are going to be both live. They're both going to be head-to-head. We'll find out where everybody's kind of standing right now. But two things. That NXT number, I mean, I'm not worried about it, but I did think it was going to be higher. I mean, I was watching the show and I thought this is not a strong ratings show, but, I mean, I thought the exact same thing on Christmas night about that NXT show, and it actually was a decent rating show. And granted, there was no AEW head-to-head, but that's a pretty low number right there. Now, the AEW number, very good number, 967,000. It did not have live head-to-head competition with wrestling, but that Rose Bowl game, 15.7 million viewers. That's a big number. So they did have competition, and they did a strong number. It is interesting. Listen, I'm not defending the angle they did with the Dark Order, but there were some people that thought the sky was falling with that Dark Order angle, and here we are, 967,000 viewers for the show. I thought it was an excellent show. I guess we'll find out next week when the two shows go head-to-head. My guess is that between the two of them, they're going to do probably 1.6, 1.7 million viewers total, live. They'll split that between the two shows. It'll probably be fairly close, and I guess we'll see who wins going into 2020. But strong rebound for AEW, especially given all of the talk about the doom of the company after that Dark Order angle.
Yeah, and combined, they still did about what they usually do. In fact, it was, I believe, their best combined total between both shows since they finished dead even on December 11th, 778,000 views apiece. You know, they still got about 1.5 million people that tuned in, and I'll be very interested to hear if it comes out about what the NXT DVR numbers are, because I think they're going to get all of them, whereas I think everybody that was going to watch AEW live for the most part did that, and I think that just the mentality with NXT was it was skippable. Not because it wasn't high-quality programming that they put on with a couple of bells and whistles, or at least you didn't know what it was going to be at the time when they announced their awards winners. You didn't know how they were going to play that whole thing out, and you saw what they did with bringing the people out inside of an empty Full Sail and then presenting them the ring bell and everything, which was fine, except for there was nothing on that show that I don't think you knew going in. You knew you could watch on DVR or could watch later on the network. It wasn't that big of a deal, and I think it just, when things came down to even, people chose AEW, and I think it actually really means nothing other than I think maybe it's time to change how you do the end-of-the-year show or how you do the compilation show, and we talked a little bit about house shows and recording those, and I think to do a best-of show at the end of the year, maybe those are a little passé now. Maybe if you're going to put a tape show up against your competition, which could be doing live programming, you're going to have to mix it up a little bit. And I think maybe showing matches from house shows that get rave reviews and things like that, maybe you take that approach for the next time around instead of showing the best of from the year, which is always available on the network.
All right, so this person here asks the question a lot of people have been asking today. Has there really been any significant change in the AEW-New Japan relationship during the past few days? Interestingly, Dave on the Pacific Rim show noted Jericho flew to Japan earlier than Moxley, even when he really didn't need to. Moxley's match is on the 4th, while Jericho will wrestle on the 5th. Here's what I can tell you about all of this. There has not been a significant change in the relationship, but there's been a minor change, and we're going to find out a lot more tonight. As far as Jericho going there early, I mean, it could have something to do with him trying to negotiate something between AEW and New Japan, but he's also there with his son. So it could just be that they went to Japan early to hang out. That could be all that it is. Now,
with Dave's kids.
He's there with Dave's kids as well. Now, here's what I can tell you about this whole deal. So, the two sides are,
yes.
Let's see, how can I say this?
On a side.
Well, no. Okay, so AEW has allowed New Japan to promote this Tanahashi-Jericho match using the AEW Championship belt, okay?
Intellectual property.
So Tanahashi did a Tokyo Sports interview, and he said, if I beat Chris Jericho, I won a shot at the AEW title. Chris Jericho then did a response saying, if you win, I will give you a shot at the AEW title. Now, things have changed to the point where Tony Khan and AEW are allowing New Japan to use the AEW belt on the show. Now, with all that said, I know everyone got very, very excited yesterday after the Observer Radio show came out, but I still fully expect Chris Jericho to beat Hiroshi Tanahashi. I fully expect that nothing substantial is going to be changing in the next couple of days, maybe the next couple of weeks, maybe ever. But the idea that each side, I'll put it this way, there was a period where both sides, it was cold as ice. It is no longer cold as ice. The door is cracked open to the point where AEW is allowing Jericho to come out with the belt and everything like that. But above and beyond that, I still expect that very, very little has changed. Now, I said this a week ago, especially with New Japan having lost television here in the U.S. and still wanting to try to run a touring promotion here in the United States. They need AEW more than ever. Now, if you look at the AEW numbers for Wednesday, I mean, they don't need New Japan more than ever. If they did 500,000 viewers, I'd say, you know what? They might need New Japan more than ever. Honestly, looking at that number Wednesday, I don't want to say they need them less than ever, but it's not like an emergency that they get a working agreement with New Japan. New Japan right now needs AEW more than AEW needs New Japan. And a lot of this, I mean, hey, listen, there's a lot of bitterness on the AEW side about New Japan, and New Japan has a lot of bitterness about AEW, but because of the whole situation with Access TV, I mean, things should change. Doesn't mean they're going to change, and you know what? It doesn't mean they're going to change anytime soon. So we will see what happens. I mean, there is a story regarding the Access show and New Japan and Impact. I mean, Impact wanted a working agreement with New Japan, and New Japan didn't want it, and now they're off Access TV. If they had agreed to work with Impact Wrestling, they'd probably still be on Access, but they would always be way down below Impact on the pecking order on Access Television. So they made the decision not to work with them, and now they have no TV. Doesn't mean they can't get TV somewhere else. Doesn't mean they can't do a working agreement with AEW at some point. But right now, that forbidden door is cracked, but it is not swung wide open yet. Back in a moment, Observer Live.
You are listening to Wrestling Observer Live with Bryan Alvarez and Mike Sempervive on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also WrestlingObserver.com. The Tokyo Dome, yes.
Can I say one thing here before you go back into the Tokyo Dome? Just something off of what you said before the break about New Japan and their relationship with AEW and whether they should have one or not and all that stuff. I will say this, what has kind of been forgotten about in Anthem going ahead and buying Access and presenting a proposal to New Japan about working with Impact that obviously New Japan balled up and threw away and walked away from the little TV that they had with Access. It raises the question, what have they been doing on American soil from a front office business point of view? And there was great fanfare when they opened up their American office. George Carroll was named one of the liaisons, and there was going to be this and there was going to be that. But just as much as we talk about WWE and American and foreign promotions having a problem when they go to Japan, there seems to be a problem with companies coming here and trying to develop and work on things and trying to change their ways and adapt them to what works here as far as style goes. And we've seen it with some of their tours, which have been quite questionable. And I'm very interested to know what exactly they've been doing, anything at all proactively in the past couple of years to do anything looking for new TV options, or whether they just sat back and thought that this Anthem or the Access thing was going to run forever. That's the one thing I would love to find out about, because they have swung and missed seemingly a lot when it comes to trying to really lay roots down as a business in America. And we always talk about it going the other way, whether it's WWE in India or wherever it is that they happen to be doing business at the moment. With New Japan, it's the exact same thing, and it's kind of been forgotten about in the fact that they've lost their TV here now. Everybody's talking about the fantasy booking of who they could work with and should they continue to work with ROH and AEW and all that stuff. But, you know, if they want to be self-sufficient, what the hell have they actually done to really try to push that forward for themselves?
All right, so tonight, the main event of the show, Okada Ibushi, IWGP Heavyweight title. Jay White, Tetsuya Naito, IWGP Intercontinental title. Tomorrow night, the winners will face off to determine the first ever double champion, and the two losers will face off as well, and the winning loser is probably next in line for a shot at whoever the double champion is.
Definitely are.
Will Ospreay, Hiromu Takahashi, IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. Lance Archer, Jon Moxley in a Texas death match. Match can only be won via 10-count, knockout, or via submission.
Oh, man, there's good pro wrestling going on there, too, but go ahead.
And also the Gorillas of Destiny versus Finn Juice. Juice Robinson
I don't like that one too much.
And David Finlay. Tomorrow, the title matches. We have got the Bullet Club versus Roppongi 3K. For the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Sonata for the British Heavyweight title. We have got a match with Juice Robinson for the IWGP United States title. We have got Kenta versus Haruki Goto for the Never Openweight title. We have got the Okada Ibushi loser versus the White Naito loser. And then Tanahashi versus Chris Jericho. That is tomorrow night, not tonight. And the IWGP Heavyweight Champion versus the IWGP Intercontinental Champion in the Double Gold Dash match for both the IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental titles. Mike, who is leaving with both belts?
Tetsuya Naito. And in fact, you could see at the end of night number 2, LIJ standing there posing with every single last championship belt. It's very possible. Adam Summers predicted that on the Adam and Mike Big Audio Nightmare prediction show, up for subscribers, up at f4wonline.com. That's how I think it's going to play out. Naito is right now. It is the right decision to make right now. Ibushi loses nothing in this. Jay White loses nothing in this, and certainly Okada loses nothing. Ibushi's time is going to come. Jay White is going to be there as a thorn in everyone's side for a long, long time, and we know where Okada's at. We've got a story to build with Ibushi, and Naito, it's just time right now. That's who I think is coming out of this with the belt. And I think you got a really interesting story that you could tell with Ibushi. If he wins the title, which I think he will, I think he, it's possible at least that he could win that title and go on and lose to Naito, where there's a story that could be told where Ibushi won the junior heavyweight title, had to give it up due to injury. I think he had to give up another title due to injury too. He gets this big contract with New Japan. He's finally a solo act. He's not split with DDT anymore. But he lost his friend in the process of that, who goes on and went to go work behind that forbidden door. So for him to win the IWGP title, then lose it and have it slip out of his hands to Naito, there's a way you could tell that story if you wanted to have Ibushi win and beat Okada and then go on to the next night. Now, I think that will be interesting if they decide to do that. I think they'll take the more traditional path and have Okada win. But I think if you wanted to mix things up a little bit and tell the story of Ibushi Naito, if that's where you are going forward, and I think that's the plan that they're going to have, I think that could be a very interesting way to do it.
This person here says, so it's actually confirmed that Jericho is walking out in the Dome with the belt, not just a hypothetical title shot on the line that might be mentioned on commentary. I don't know if he's going to the ring with the belt on. I have no idea. But he made his video holding the belt that we all saw when he was getting on his private jet, and New Japan posted that video. So if AEW gave them the okay, and they posted a video with him holding the belt, and that's part of the storyline, I actually would be surprised if he didn't walk to the ring with the belt on. I don't know for sure that it's going to happen, but I think he is. I presume he is. I guess we'll find out tomorrow. Maybe we'll know before then, but I think that's what's happening.
You ever heard of Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling?
Never.
I've heard
a small indie somewhere.
I'm sure you have, and I'm sure you've heard of a guy that does a podcast about. That guy loves storytelling and loves when bases get covered, when you have to tell a story, when you have unique situations. And you have that with Moxley and with Archer and with Juice Robinson because of that Texas death match. You know, this is the one that's kind of getting forgotten about with all this AEW talk going on with Tanahashi and with Jericho. You got Moxley there. And you got Moxley and Archer, who's had a great year. And, you know, there's a chance, you know, that conceivably Archer could get the win. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. And one of the reasons why is because you got Juice Robinson there. And the guy that took the belt off of Juice, there's got to be a comeuppance for this. And Juice is one of your young stars, one of the stars that you're trying to build in America with. And you actually have your competition in America. You have really one of their biggest stars. And you have that story that's going to be played out and be told, and I think we'll end up with Juice winning the title from Jon Moxley coming up on night 2. But you also have the story being told, at least from AEW's side or from Moxley's side, that, hey, this guy had to face a wild man in a Texas death match, and he was exhausted going into battle with your guy. So that situation could be set up 1-1 and actually have a future match with Moxley and Juice down the line, and I think they have done some nice things in building up that match and kind of covering all their bases that, I don't know, at least I appreciate in an era where there's so much sloppiness and so many open holes when it comes to that stuff. It's nice when things are all hemmed up and seamed up and all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted.
All right, this person says, they advertised Jericho being on the AEW New Year's show, but he left early for Japan instead. Why would AEW let him take TV off unless he was doing something for the company in Japan? Maybe speculation, but it's an important thing to consider. It's also something you may be reading way too much into.
I was going to say, is it something to speculate about or to what?
He was on the show. Yes, it was a pre-tape, but it was not billed as a pre-tape. It was billed as being live. They pretended like he was in the parking lot. I mean, he was on the show. He was out there in Shad Khan's $750,000 car.
Sup, Shad?
So actually, the actual price of the car, it was like The Price is Right. Jericho claimed millions of dollars. I claimed $500,000. And it fell right in the middle, $750,000 for that car.
$1.
So he was on television. It made sense building up to next week's live show. Everything's fine. I don't think you should read too much into him not being there. This person here says, how would you and Mike feel about Jericho interfering in the Texas death match to help Moxley win to convince him to join the Inner Circle? Well, you could do that, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I think you'd
be very surprised.
If there was a working relationship, maybe, but now we're traipsing into a little bit of like, okay, slow down now. We're not broken your angles on our show too much here.
We got our anti-AEW fan here doing his usual text message. I am having a hard time understanding what was so different about Dynamite this week in comparison to the previous 3 months. Overly long choreographed matches with little selling, minimal promos, typical production issues, 50-50 booking. What show were we watching? What show were we watching?
Not
Cody
that
beat
one.
Darby. I mean, what was the 50-50 booking that we saw here? That Kenny Omega actually got a win? Because the whole storyline is that the Elite's trying to actually win, and they all won their matches. There were plenty of promos on the show. I didn't see any production issues. There was not one match that was too long. Everyone sold. Are you telling me there was little selling? Did you watch the Cody match where he sold his shoulder for the entire match and it played into the finish? Get out of here. Go listen to another show.
Would you wear Adam Page's shirt?
I don't even know what it was. What did it say?
It didn't say anything. It was just kind of like that weird design on the button-up denim shirt.
I'd wear anything. You seen me?
Yeah, that's a good point.
This person here says, check Jericho's social media. Pretty sure part of the reason he missed Dynamite was because he had a ceremony to renew his vows with his wife.
That was there, yes.
There's that as well. His family's there.
Yeah.
This person says, I watched AEW live with my wife. Thought it was an excellent show with focus on their top stars. Looking forward to going to AEW Revolution. Back in a moment with more Wrestling Observer Live.
Football and basketball seasons are in full swing. So get into the game with our exclusive sports betting partners, betonline.ag. Sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit to start betting college or professional sports. Every spread, every total, every winner or loser. Straight bet, parlay, or tease your way through the season. You can even bet on wild proposition bets like who will be the first head coach to get fired or who will win the NBA MVP. Get the fastest to market odds, updates, and payouts with our new sportsbook partners, betonline.ag. Head over to the website today or use your mobile device to join and use promo code COACH55. That's COACH55 to receive your 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline.ag, your online sportsbook experts.
You are listening to Wrestling Observer Live with Bryan Alvarez and Mike Sempervive on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. That last fella there said he couldn't wait to go to Revolution. Who here is going to WrestleMania this year? I'll tell you who is. Myself and Dave Meltzer. In fact, coming to you on Friday of WrestleMania weekend, near Tampa, Florida, in Ybor City. It's a special live edition of Wrestling Observer Radio with myself and Dave. Another live mailbag. As we've done in the past, we're going to be recording a Q&A session featuring your questions about anything to do with wrestling, MMA, or anything in between. We'll have a 1-hour pre-taping meet and greet with myself and Dave. We'll be selling a limited number of WrestleMania group tickets. There's only a few of these left, so you can sit with a group of subscribers to the website. You can all have fun, sit together, drink, eat, watch WrestleMania. It's always a fun time, that block. Meet and greet is going to start at 10 a.m. local time. The show itself starts at 11 a.m. local time. This will be on Friday, April 3rd. We have limited space. Tickets are available for the Q&A. The WrestleMania tickets will be handed out at the Q&A at the Cuban Club. So if you get your group tickets, we'll give them to you when you come to the Q&A, or you can just show up and get your ticket. You don't have to go to the Q&A if you don't want to. But we got all sorts of great stuff. The live mailbag sessions are always fun. It's Dave and I at a table with mics, and you guys all get in a line, and you come up, and you ask your question. We answer your question. It'll be available at video.f4wonline.com if that's working by WrestleMania, which is questionable at this point. And the podcast goes up as well. If you do not want to get on the mic to ask your question, we also hand out paper so you can write your question down and we'll answer your question. It's a lot of fun. We hang out. It's a great time. Once again, this is the Friday before WrestleMania, and tickets are going fast. We have various packages. We have packages where you can just get a meet and greet ticket in the Q&A. We have packages for just the Q&A. And we have the meet and greet, the Q&A, and the WrestleMania ticket in the F4W group section. All of these are available at F4WMania.brownpapertickets.com. So join us WrestleMania weekend. It will be a lot of fun. I did not think that this day was ever going to come, but it has. 2019 was the year where, everybody just went crazy. They said crazy things on social media. We had crazy WWE fans. We had crazy AEW fans. Everybody's defending this. Everybody's defending that. Everybody's talking about how this is going out of business, that is going out of business. I should mention, by the way, that when this show went on the air during the news period of the show, it was noted that this year's NFL season, the 2019 NFL season, was the most watched NFL season since 2016. Viewership was up 10% since 2017. So, for those of you that are looking at the Raw ratings being at all-time lows and saying, well, TV's at an all-time low. It's all these, nobody watches television anymore. Well, that's not the case. The NFL is having its most watched season since 2016, and WWE is having its least watched season ever. So anyway, this year, I honest to God, I thought there's been a lot of craziness between the WWE fans, the AEW fans, all these just crazy people out there. I never thought I would see the day where the NFL season ended, the Raw ratings went up like they do every year when the season is over, and I actually have people saying it wasn't because of no football. It was because of the wedding. I've been reading it now for 2 days. What's going on? Really?
Expectations, people.
This happens every year. On this same week, this happens. And now people think it's because of the wedding. You know what's funny about that? It's not even like the third hour was the most watched hour. The third hour was the least watched hour.
Yep.
The hour with the wedding did the worst of all 3 hours. And I'm still being told that the reason that the Raw number was up was because of the wedding.
Better stop fooling with these people.
I'm not fooling with anybody. I'm just flabbergasted. Like, this is a new one. And actually, it's not, because this does happen to a small degree every year. But I figured by now people would know what's going on. In September, the ratings go down when the football season starts. In January, the ratings go up when the football season ends. What are we doing here?
There's always been insanely stupid and unreasonable people. They just now have a chance to invade your timeline when you put up numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's as simple
I haven't even looked
as
at the comments in weeks.
Nor should you. Save that for YouTube. Don't do it there either.
First says, I know you don't follow sports, Bryan, but in my opinion, the reason the NFL ratings are up is because they have made new stars. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. He's Mahomes. These guys have become stars in the last year and a half. Yeah. It's all about making stars. Hello? WWE can't make stars. They're at all-time lows. The NFL's making stars. They're doing the best number since 2016. This is not rocket science here. Just the way things go.
People want to see. It's as simple as that. People say I'm going to turn off football and kneeled and this or whatever reasons that they had for wanting to turn it off.
You know who's watching football, by the way?
Who?
Young people. The ones that I keep being told don't watch TV anymore. Oh,
well,
actually, they will watch TV if there's something on TV they want to watch with stars they want to see.
They'll even play the video game while they're at it, too. Oh, you can't do that with wrestling either, can you? Is there any update on that? Are people able to play the video game now,
yes,
too?
Yes, it's been fixed.
Okay.
Yes, you must restart everything, and the patch will automatically download. Yeah, so if you didn't hear, so it's actually funny now. The WWE 2K20 video game, I mean, it was already like the glitchiest game ever. Everybody hated it.
The new ET.
And it's called WWE 2K20. Okay, for those of you that are too young, which is probably a lot of you, 20 years ago, the reason that Chris Jericho called himself Y2J is because when we were moving over from 1999 to 2000, there was this concern that there was going to be this Y2K glitch in all of these computers. And this glitch, when the calendar rolled over from 1999 to 2000, was going to, like, destroy the world. It wasn't quite that bad, but, like, there were some people that, oh, my God, it's all, everything,
planes
banks, planes, everything. It's just going to be mass destruction, okay? So the clock switched over and nothing happened for the most part, okay? Well, here we are 20 years later, and 2K20 switches over from 2019 to 2020, and the whole game stops working. We had a Y2K glitch in a WWE game 20 years after Y2K. Thankfully, it's been fixed. So now you can get all your glitches again.
That's sad, just amazing. amazing that it could be a product could be that shoddy. And again, everybody still blames everybody else seemingly on that one. I know everybody was pointing back at one point towards WWE and rushing it out and this and that, but my God, like this was a breakdown seemingly on every possible conceivable level, other than the commercial that they made to hype the damn thing, which was actually pretty good.
All right, also tonight we've got SmackDown. If you want to get a preview of WrestleKingdom, you can watch SmackDown here tonight. We have got Bayley and Sasha versus Alexa and Nikki versus Lacey Evans and Dana in a triple threat women's tag team match.
Dana.
And we've also got Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan teaming up to face Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler. Do you realize that like a little while ago here on the show we were talking about Dana Brooke and you were trying to defend her? And I said, dude, I got stats. And I listed off every single match she's lost, which is literally every single one of them except one. And this led to people on the internet writing, I'm not talking like on social media, I'm talking stories on wrestling websites. Rumor, SmackDown star, basically enhancement talent. It's like, what? That's the depths we've fallen for news?
Because nothing's, never mind. It's a story for a different day.
We also have Keith Lee, Dominic Dijakovic, Damian Priest, and Cameron Grimes on NXT Wednesday. Yes, Keith Lee and Dominic Dijakovic back facing each other again. 4-way, winner is the number one contender to Roderick Strong's North American title. And quite frankly, if he's not in the title picture, which he's not, and he's not being called up anytime soon, which I actually don't know, I mean, Keith Lee should win this match, and he should win the title. End of story. Go with this guy, just like they did with Rhea Ripley. The guy's hot. Go with it. That's the big lineup there for NXT. All right, let's go back to the text messages here. If you want to send a text message, 425-780-7566. This person says, Ibushi and Naito are both 37. Naito has held the belt. When is Ibushi's time, if not now? Dude, it could be June. Yeah. First off, he doesn't look 37. He looks 27, so it doesn't matter unless he falls apart. And according to him, he feels great.
Yes.
So, yeah, Naito can win this weekend, and Ibushi can beat him in June or whenever. It's not the end of the world if he doesn't win.
No,
today.
And again, now is more of the time for LIJ and Naito. And people have been saying it for Naito for the past couple of years. And, yeah, just physically, I'll say this, too. It's not like Ibushi is any great shakes, but he's also not Naito. And just the way the arcs of their career are, throw their ages out the window, just with the arcs of their story in New Japan, where they're at right now, I would say it's more Naito's time than Ibushi's or anybody else's there.
All right, so this person says, are you telling me that the year the game 2K20 was titled after cannot be played in that year? 2K20 could be played in 2K19, but not 2K20? Yes, that's what happened.
Yes. In fact, that was one of the quick fixes at first. They said, well, just go back and set your timer back to the last year. That to fix it.
Is there a Kushida character? This person says, there were some audio issues on AEW. Mostly the music was too loud and the mics were not loud enough.
Well,
I didn't notice any of that.
Britt Baker segment. No, that Britt Baker segment was horrible. That was terrible. When she's in there yelling at Riho, it was awkward anyway.
That went backstage. It was supposed to be awkward. She interrupted an interview segment.
Oh, it was so bad. But it was everything about it was awkward. Riho's reaction, Nakazawa standing there. He was discovered, by the way. Look at Nakazawa's all of a sudden just standing there back again.
Yeah, what happened to that guy? That's a good question I never even thought about.
Damn right.
I thought Pac beat up Michael Nakazawa.
He just disappeared in the thin air. Maybe Pac didn't even get him. Nakazawa's got the ability just to disappear now at this point. But, yeah, so that happened. And the bumper music was played up over that. And that happened at least at one other time as well, too. It wasn't as bad as it's been in prior weeks, but it made a bad segment worse.
This person says, I can't fathom anybody caring for tonight's SmackDown due to WrestleKingdom. I myself am taking a break before the two nights. Well, you'll be surprised on Monday when we get the numbers, actually tomorrow, and it'll be 2.4 million people watching that SmackDown before WrestleKingdom.
I got to be honest, I probably won't. We probably won't be talking about it on Sunday either. Why?
I'm watching
because
it
we'll
tonight.
be talking about
I'm watching all of this tonight.
I bet you are.
First says, maybe if Kota Ibushi wins the world title and Tanahashi loses, Kota can challenge Jericho to determine the real world champion. I wouldn't expect that to happen, buddy. Don't get your hopes up for that one.
Although, you know what, Brian? That could be a bold prediction. Where could people actually give bold predictions, say, if you wanted them to?
Well, the prediction show, everybody, is going to be on Monday. On Monday is Wrestling Observer Live. It will be the prediction show. We'll talk all about WrestleKingdom in New Japan on Sunday's Observer Live. So that's at 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern on Sunday. So we'll give you the full rundown there of everything. And I'm sure there's going to be a million shows on the website talking about the Tokyo Dome. So Monday is going to be the big prediction show day. You can call the Sports Byline. You get one prediction. We'll take predictions for the first 40 minutes. Final 20 minutes, we will read last year's predictions and crown myself, I expect, the grand prize winner. If I win, there's a winged eagle on the line. If you win, there's not. Back in a moment, Observer Live.
You are listening to Wrestling Observer Live with Bryan Alvarez and Mike Sempervive on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. This person says, speaking of football, because I am a football analyst now, do you think the XFL has a better chance now that arena football has shut down, or is it proof an ancillary football league can't work today? Well, as a football expert, I shall give you my expert opinion. We actually already answered this question earlier in the show. If the XFL can create stars, it can succeed. If the XFL is just second-rate football after the main football season is over, with folks that people don't care about and or have never heard of, no, it's not going to do very well. That's it. That's just the way things go.
Arena football shutting down will have nothing to do on the XFL's success. Ultimately, what it will be is, of course, as you mentioned, making stars and getting TV viewers and actually creating fans, of which they have none right now. And can it help any of those players springboard on, which will also help interest in the league from a football point of view, all to be determined beginning, February 8th, I believe it is.
And finally, Hamish here can't believe his ears. There's no way, he says. People are saying the wedding was good and drew viewers. Oh, Hamish, you are incorrect. It's mostly the Vince Russo fan base who are trying to tell me that this is what's going to draw casual fans, and it's the best thing WWE's done in a long time. Keep in mind, again, it was still the lowest-rated show on a week that the rating bumped up due to the lack of football. But there's no arguing. There's no arguing with these people. Don't waste your time. We're out of time, everybody. Enjoy WrestleKingdom Night 1 and Night 2. We're going to talk about it here on Sunday. We're going to have a million shows at WrestlingObserver.com, Big Audio Nightmare, Observer Radios, and so much more, so check those out. And we are out of here. I want to thank Mike, as always, callers and listeners. Main man Scott, everybody in the studio. Talk to you again next time. Wrestling Observer Live.
So, you've decided to go to college. Pop quiz. Which is a better way to earn your degree? Commute to college and fill your gas tank, get stuck in traffic, drive in bad weather, try to find a parking space, walk a half mile to class, or learn online at Independence University. In the park, on a bench, on the beach on a towel, or on your couch with your kid. Your campus is wherever you want it to be. That's Independence University. And all your supplies, including a brand new laptop and tablet, are included with tuition. 1-800-961-0481. 1-800-961-0481.
Mortgage rates have dropped 25%, the lowest mortgage rates in years. So maybe you should drop everything and call Zoom Refi. Refinance your home now and slash your mortgage payments. Take cash out and save maybe hundreds of dollars every month. Zoom Refi mortgage rates are super low. Zoom Refi closing costs are super low. And Zoom, we approve you right over the phone, even for no income check loans. Big drop in mortgage rates. Big opportunity for you to save money. Call Zoom Refi today. 888-913-1825. 888-913-1825. Save on mortgage payments. Save on closing costs. Call Zoom Refi. 888-913-1825. Advertising by marketing entity Zoom Refi. Zoom Refi is not a bank or financial company. Calls and other inquiries may be forwarded to third-party lenders who are solely responsible for reviewing, approving, and servicing any loan. Zoom Refi is not affiliated with any state or federal agency and does not provide mortgage advice or help. No income check loans are for investment properties only, and income must be sufficient to service debt.
It's Heidi Summers, health and wellness expert with your local health update. I get so many emails and calls about CBD, the incredible oil from the hemp plant that's being used to provide relief to millions for joint discomfort, inflammation, and nagging injuries. It's the most talked about alternative health breakthrough in years. The CBD product I always recommend comes from CBD Labs, the gold standard of CBD. CBD Labs oil goes to work fast to relieve your discomfort and deliver the results one thought nearly impossible without a prescription. This powerful oil is not marijuana and contains no THC, the ingredient that gets you high. Oh yeah, CBD Labs oil has also been used to help thousands get a great night's sleep. Don't be fooled by all the imitators. Call now and find out how to get a free bottle while supplies last.
To get your free bottle of CBD Labs CBD oil, call 800-650-9814. That's 800-650-9814. Get your free bottle for a limited time. Call now. 800-650-9814. 800-650-9814.
Attention! Do you owe $10,000 or more in tax debt? Millions of Americans like you owe the IRS more than $10,000 and are facing liens, bank levies, wage garnishments, penalty abatements, and other IRS enforcement actions. Newly authorized debt forgiveness programs allow you to settle your debts for less than ever before. Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? If so, then call our tax settlement helpline now. You work hard for your money. Protect it, protect your assets, and protect your lifestyle too by calling our tax settlement helpline. Our network of tax professionals will fight for you. They have helped save their clients millions of dollars over the years and can help you save too. Call Tax Settlement Helpline today to see if you qualify to pay a fraction of what you owe. Don't stress over your unpaid tax problems any longer. Call our Tax Settlement Helpline now at 800-830-9110. 800-830-9110. That is 800-830-9110.